Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And I finally get a chance to check out the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rate each of the films as I do them. I'm going to rate them each separately. But at the end, I'm going to give it an overall rating. And that rating is what I'm going to count in my 2021 ranking. Because I've seen people ranking them separately, and from what I know, they are all connected. And so it's technically one film told over 3 parts. So while I'm going to give it a rating for each part, I'm also going to give it one big rating overall by the end of it. And that's going to be what I judge it on for the ranking. So, alright, and I must say that I guess officially birth month is over. I know it's a little early, but I want to get started on doing some of the 2021 movies that I'm behind on. So we'll start with Fear Street 1994. And I don't have a lot of experience with the Fear Street books. I did read a few in high school, but they weren't as popular to me as Goosebumps were. And I was always after Goosebumps all the time. Fear Street was still good, but it wasn't my thing, so to speak. But yes, so this film takes place in 1994, of course, and Scream's influence is all over this, even though technically Scream hadn't come out yet. But why could you just make it 1996 or 97? Nope, 1994, okay. And like I said, overall, I think this movie was well done. It's very 90s slasher-esque. I think they did some camera movement stuff that made it feel like a 90s slasher. The beginning of this is very Scream. You have Maya Hawke, an actress from a famous family, coming in, and she's killed right away, much like Drew Barrymore in Scream. And so, yeah, the acting in this is all pretty good, except for the actress who plays Dina. Like, sometimes she's good, and sometimes it just comes off wrong. Maybe it's how she pronounces certain things. I don't know, but there's sometimes it's just like, oh, she didn't say that right. I don't know what it is, but it's like half of her performance I don't get, but the other half is okay. I don't know. I like how they subdue the audience. Like, they, not subdue, but subvert. There we go. That's the word. Subvert the audience's expectation. Because the whole thing with Dina is that she has an ex named Sam. And when they go to a game, she's staring at this couple. And you think it's the guy. But then it's revealed it's actually the girl. And Sam stands for Samantha. And while some people might say, well, that didn't exist back then, it kind of did. Like, you had, like, 1994 was the same year Friends came on, and there was a lesbian couple on there. So that did exist, it just wasn't as accepted as it was. And yes, it's very Netflix to do something like this, but Janiak, the director, she wanted to, I guess, wanted to have protagonists that would be an unlikely protagonist couple. Two lesbians in a movie set in the 90s, that's, different, I guess. Our other cast members are rounded out by Benjamin Little Peanut Flores Jr., playing the younger brother, Josh. There's 2 other characters, Simon and Kate, who are friends with her. And they do a thing that's sort of reminiscent of Halloween, where Kate is babysitting across the street or something like that from Dina's house. The killer in this is a skull mask killer, but it's very Scream because it's someone, a hooded figure, all black with a white mask. That it's Scream, but it's got technically they're stealing this from Boy Meets World because they did this first, the skeleton mask thing, but and it's about a curse, I guess. You can see there's something going on because Shadyside and Sunnyvale, not to be confused with Sunnydale, Shadyside and Sunnyvale are like side by side towns, sister towns. But Sunnyvale is prosperous and Shadyside is not. So there's something going on. No spoilers in the comments, please. I haven't gotten that far yet. But there's something else going on. There has to be. Besides this witch. Like, I don't know. Something with the witch, maybe? I don't know. But, and it's nice you just don't get, like, this killer, Ryan Torres, he's killed right away. You're like, okay. But then you see the same killer stalking around, like, somebody else. Is there another one? Did he have a partner? What's going on? He was just fine a second ago. Something said, and you see, once they say there's like a curse or something, oh, the witch said his name, so he's under her control. And then, like, there's hints. So the killer goes in to the house that Kate is babysitting in and finds clothes that have Sam's blood on them, because there's an incident where Dina, she gets a bloody nose and she ends up tossing the cooler of stuff there. And so they never actually have a football game because this cooler is still full. They throw it and it causes a crash and she's bleeding, and she bleeds on, later we find out, our bones. We'll get to that. And then she ends up like spewing blood on Simon's shirt, which he keeps on wearing. Why doesn't he change his shirt? It's a plot convenience so that this, the killer can come after him. Why not just have it on the same night then? Why have it go to the next day? It doesn't make any sense. But they also go after Dina because there's blood. Her blood's on Dina's shoe. And they figure it out later. However, it just doesn't make any sense. They say that it's bypassing them to go straight for her, which is why one of the killers, because a bunch of killers start coming back. All the killers that they've seen in the past, Ruby Lane, Ryan Torres again, the camp, whatever. The camp killer, which looks like a baghead Jason Voorhees, all coming back, and like it goes right past Josh to get to Sam, but it doesn't make any sense because when they're at the hospital, the skull mask kills like Nurse Betty and a couple other nurses. So if they're just bypassing people, unless they. The only thing I think of, we don't see it. The only thing I can think of, we do see Nurse Betty get killed. But the only thing I think of is that they tried to get in his way. But Nurse Betty is just... And then later, one of them kills Kate by using a bread slicer at the supermarket, which reminds me of the movie Intruder. But she was in the way. But then the camp killer uses the axe and hacks Simon's head, and so it's like, okay, they're just after her. They find out that there's a survivor at the camp massacre in 1978, which I believe, from what I saw at the end, the little trailer thing at the end, that's where we're going next, that there was a survivor named C. Berman. And she survived, but after being resuscitated, so she technically died. And I have something to say about the kill count for this. What the actual dead count is in this film. Because, I don't know, it just kind of frustrates me, I guess. But they find out that she survived. They try to call her, she doesn't answer. They find out that she survived, and because of resuscitation. So they decide to use the drugs because Kate and Simon were sort of drug dealers, and to stop her heart, and they do it in a certain way. But she ends up, her body reacts and she ends up puking it up. So they drown her, or Dina drowns her in a lobster tank. Ew, lobster poop. and she drowns. And then they resuscitate her with so much adrenaline, followed by mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and so that defeats all the creatures. But it's not over yet, because while they're recuperating and Sam and Dina are finally together again, someone has written Sam's name on a wall with the other names, and Sam attacks Dina in her house, leading to them scuffling. This is after she gets a phone call from Sean Berman, better late than never, saying that the witch is doing this and that she's never going to stop. All right. And so we end with Dina getting Josh and showing him that she has her tied up with a phone cord. So that leads into the next one. I thought this was well done, although too much of the music there. They're trying to do 90s music, and there's like, at the beginning of this, there's like 5 or 6 songs you just play. It's like, okay, we get it. This is the 90s. You have to have that many songs. And then throughout the film, it's not bad music. It's good music. It's 90s music. It's not the stuff I listened to in the 90s, but it's 90s music. Honestly, this was pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. It's an hour and 40 minutes. Not a bad, way to spend your time if you're watching. I think the acting was pretty good for the most part, except for like Dina. Rael did a good job. I did feel like Kate and Simon's death was just a way to get them out of the other movies. Like, I don't know. Like, Simon's death especially just kind of happens. Like, Kate gets put into the bread thing. He's like, oh, and then it's like, oh, geez, okay. But the kills are actually pretty good in this. There's blood, there's gore, there's the F-bomb, but pretty good. Now, the kill count. Hate to go against the great almighty James A. Janisse, but he counted 15. And he even said he wasn't counting the other 4 that were mentioned in a news report by the sheriff, because he said there was 7 people killed at the mall. We only saw 3. And so he says he's not counting that. But in every other kill count I've seen, he counts what's said on the news, for the most part. So I don't understand why he didn't count that just because he didn't see any bodies. If they say it on the news, then it happens. So the actual kill count for this, officially, is 19, not 15. But, just pointing it out. It's 19. So if you watch the kill count, he says 15. Just keep it back in mind. It's actually 19, and he's not counting those other 4. So it is actually 19. He's just not counting those other 4 for some reason. He hasn't given another reason why, other than he didn't see him, so he's not counting them. But it's his kill count. Let him do what he wants. But the actual count is 19. I'm just saying. For this one, I'd have to say it was pretty good. I enjoyed it pretty much. I can't wait to see the other 2. This was a good slasher film. A little bit supernatural stuff in there too. I liked it. Like the creature effects. The lighting was actually kind of cool at the beginning there too. They do. I forgot a part where they do go back to get the witch's bones, and she's just on the side of the road, not really buried that far in this red moss stuff. And no one else has found this, because they find out that she bled on the bones to get the vision for this all to start. So yeah, but no, it's really weird that it's just on the side of the road, but yeah. So it's a pretty good. So what are your thoughts on Fear Street 1994? Let me comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one. What's up, my teeth?